Hey guys, I'm Pontic, and today I'm going to be giving you my 9 tips for newish Overwatch players. Alright, so right off the bat we're going to start with one of my most important tips to really any player, but especially new players. When the clock's about to run down, touch the objective. Let me say that again for you. Touch the objective, especially in overtime. It automatically resets the overtime clock, so even if you just immediately die, it doesn't matter. Just touch the objective and you'll get a few more seconds to allow someone on your team to really do the exact same thing, to reach the objective and fight for that. So, tip number 1, touch the objective. Remember that. Number 2, everybody dies, especially new players. So you gotta make the most of that in one of two ways. Or two of two ways, I guess. That'd make more sense. First, the kill cam gives you the location of your killer, which is pretty basic. Games that have the kill cam, you get to see where this person was. So, if Widowmaker has a sniping nest, you get to see where she's hiding out. You can warn your team about the flanking Reaper, the Bastion hidden around the corner so they don't fall into the same trap as you. And secondly, you can see your killer's ult meter. So, if it's like 99% or if it's already full, you can call out to your team and let them know, hey, that Reinhardt's about to drop down, so get ready for that. Piggybacking off that tip, you go to tip number 3. Call out when your own ult is ready, which it is set to hotkey, which I guess you can hold C and then go to ultimate status. Obviously that can change if you want to change the key bindings around, but that should be the default. So let them know you're just ready, because you can coordinate with your team, let them know who else has the ultimate, and you can actually hold tab and look for a check mark under someone's picture and their name, and it'll tell you if their ult is ready too. And then you have those ultimates that go well together, like Zarya and Pharah, or Zarya and d.va, or Zarya and, well, really most others. But not coordinating your ults, you're really missing out on a lot. Up number next. 4. Listen to the audio cue from the ults of your enemies. So the last tips on ultimates, I promise. But each line is unique to each character, which I'm sure by now, if you've played this game a little bit, most of y'all should be familiar with this. But just listening, and you'll know which ult is coming, and you can get a chance to run and hide, or respawn and kill them if you're quick. Number 5. Pay attention to where the health packs are located. Seems pretty basic, but it's very important, and especially when the 6th guy on your team refuses to choose a healer and decides to go as a second Widowmaker. But seriously, these things are super important, especially the bigger packs that give more health for obvious reasons. Those are better. So yeah, just learn where they're at, get used to that. So if you're in a 1v1, you can pop into a room, get health real quick, and pop back out and dominate the guy. I don't mean that in a weird way. 6. The objective is more important than your KDR. Why, yes, it's nice to have that glorious gold medal for eliminations at the end of the round, but it's not everything. Especially on the payload maps, your number 1 priority should be to move that payload forward. Something I didn't know for an embarrassing long time was that having 3 people on the payload pushes at the top speed, so it goes faster than just having 1 person. So that should be a priority, to have at least 3 people at all times, which gives 3 more to be out getting those gold medals for eliminations. But it also heals you. So if you don't have a support in your team, that's even more incentive to stand on the payload. Seems like a win-win to me. 7. This is a team-based game. Unless you're going to get your Q of the game, it's best to stay with your team, especially when attacking. If you trickle in one by one, you are going to die one by one. And this is just going to lead to frustration. So remember, group up with your team. There's even if you hold C in your key bindings and then scroll over group up, you can try to signal to your team a little bit, but you can always use chat or voice, whatever. But group up and push together. 8. You have a melee attack. Its default is V, but if you're like me and you have extra buttons on your mouse, I personally like having, I guess it's mouse number 4, I don't know what it's called, for a little thumb button. It's great for finishing off an opponent. It has 30 damage, I believe is what the latest number is. So if your clip runs dry and you're both reloading, you can take advantage of that and try to get a quick melee out to finish them off.
Broski, heal me.
And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So just use it. It's great.
Dude, I'm right next to you.
It also seems to have really good range. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like seeing things, but it does seem to be pretty great. 9, and the final tip I have is, yeah, maybe your favorite character is Bastion. We're all going to judge you for that. Yes, we are. Then you can choose him in the select screen, except you're attacking. And the enemy Genji has killed you thrice in the first 10 seconds of the match. Well, it's time to switch heroes. No matter how much you love that guy, it doesn't matter. This game is essentially a rock, paper, scissors played out in a first-person shooter format. So if someone's smashing your scissors, then switch and suffocate them with your papery awesomeness. Everyone has a counter in-game, so learn them. And that's really it for that last tip. Just don't stick one character if it's not working. Be willing to switch to help your team out, and be willing to switch to counter the other opponent's, the enemy's team. If you see that they have a Bastion that's just demolishing your team, well, go somewhere you can counter Bastion, like Genji. Alright, that finishes my 9 tips for newish Overwatch players. Obviously, there's a lot more that could be said, but this was just kind of the base / important ones that came to my mind. If you have any other ones, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Until then, I don't really have a good outro, so I'll just end it.